Hi, I'm Chas, and you're watching Chas's Crazy Creations. Today we're talking about a few ways to clean stainless steel appliances in your home. So as we cook, grease particles float through the air, land on our cabinets, our walls, our tile, and even on our appliances. In addition to that, we often have fingerprints and drips and things like that we need to clean up. So we'll talk about that first. To cut the grease and grime and fingerprints, you have a few options. You can use a natural version like Castile soap. You could use a dish detergent like Dawn. You could use vinegar if you'd like, or you could also use rubbing alcohol, although rubbing alcohol will kill the germs but not necessarily cut through all the grease. I will be using the Castile soap because I like a more natural ingredient, and I'm just gonna put a couple squirts in the sink and then make some soapy water for cleaning. So now I'm gonna take a clean cloth, making sure that it's clean, otherwise you might be pushing around germs or oil. And then while you're at it, before you get started, why don't you go ahead and clean your faucet handle and your faucet as well. Those get awful germy. And then next we're gonna wipe down all of our appliances. So as you're cleaning, you may notice some drips and some blotchiness to your stainless. And then you'll also see the gunk that you need to clean off. We'll be cleaning off the gunk first and wiping everything down, and we'll be dealing with those streaks next. Okay, so we're about to hit this, and we're gonna start with our clean rag and hit where our hands go the most. So right up here, we touch this a lot, the handle. We wanna kill all those germs. So we're cleaning it with the antibacterial soapy water. Don't forget to hit your buttons on the top because we touch those a lot too. Then in addition to that, we want to wipe with the grain all the way down and up, making sure that we wipe the whole thing to free it of any grease particles, because sometimes you can't see those as well as any drips or anything that's stuck to this. So we'll get it good and clean, and you can always get some new soapy water and do some more if it's really yucky. Don't forget to also hit the sides. We have a lot of drips on the sides of our doors and stuff too. So you want to make sure to get the whole thing good and clean. All right, we'll go ahead and continue cleaning all of our appliances and then move on to the next step. So before we move on, what happens if you would like to just spray it and wipe it down? Say you made something messy, but you don't want to make a whole sink full of soapy water. You'll add a couple pumps of that Castile soap, about a tablespoon worth. Next, you'll fill it with water. You'll place the lid on, and then you'll go ahead and give it a little shake to mix it up. And now you've made a multi-surface cleaner that's ready to use. So you can use this on your stainless appliances, you can use this on granite, you can use this as a cleaner for anywhere in your home. So after you clean, you may notice that it's a little soapy because of the soapy water. So now what we need to do is rinse it clean, otherwise other residue will stick to it because soapy water is a sticky residue as well. So I've rinsed this clean so there's no more soapy water, or you could use a squirt bottle of water and a clean rag. And I'm just gonna wipe off all the soap so that it's nice and rinsed off. Basically, we have cleaned off all of the grease and grime. We've cleaned off all the particles from our hands touching things. And now we are just rinsing off the soapy residue so that nothing will stick to that too. Now you may have noticed that I cleaned the keypad up here and that I cleaned the windows as well. Why not? We might as well. And so what I have here is a flour sack towel. It's basically all cotton. My grandma used to stitch these, and this is actually one of the ones she made for me. But basically just a nice cotton or microfiber cloth, wiping back and forth to dry that window off. It will leave it fingerprint free, and you used no chemicals. And I'm gonna do that to the keypad and any glass that I also cleaned. So nice and streak free, and there you go. So as you can see, there's always streakiness and lines and blotchiness to your stainless after you've cleaned it, and you wonder why. So we're gonna talk about that next. Okay, so we talked about the streaks. And the biggest reason we have streaks on our stainless is because it needs to be moisturized. It's a dry type of metal, so it needs oil to be streak-free. Now, some options that you can use are an oil-based stainless cleaner. So that is one choice. Another big popular choice is to use plain shaving cream. Not the gel, just the plain, and you spray it on and use a clean, dry cloth, and you wipe with the grain, as this is the important piece for other streaky factors, but you wipe back and forth like this. Now, shaving cream has moisturizing qualities in it because it is helping us when we shave faces and legs. It moisturizes the skin so it won't irritate it. So there is a little bit of an oil or a softening factor to it, which helps make your stainless streak-free. I think it's a little messy. It may be an expensive option, but I find that it's a little messy and it doesn't really always leave everything streak-free. So this is kind of an example, and I know it's a little hard to tell in the video, but as you can see, there are some more streaks in here, and I have to work a little harder to get it in. And up here, this is very streaky. So it is not my favorite choice for cleaning stainless. So let's talk about what is my favorite choice and what I use. Okay, so now, as you can see, it's a little streaky, not my favorite. So one of the things I like to use is just natural oil. This is avocado oil. You can use olive oil, any oil that you like, even coconut oil. You just want to melt it a little bit first. Using it all stiff and hard would be a little harder to work with. So just go ahead, warm it up in the microwave till it turns into a liquid, and you can use it that way. So basically what you do, clean, soft cloth, nothing abrasive, or you will scratch your stainless. So we just take it. There's a few ways to do it. You could squirt it on if you have a pump sprayer, which I do have one of those actually, but I just like to do this. And then I just rub with the grain back and forth to create the streak-free look. As you can see, it's shining right up. And I'll just keep adding a little bit more as I need to go. Now, one question that I get asked a lot is, will this turn rancid? And the answer is, it really depends on how often you clean your kitchen. So most of you know I love to have a clean house. So we do this process pretty frequently. So the answer is no for me. So, you know, what our process is, you know, every so often in the kitchen, a few times a week, we may see that this is starting to get kind of gross. And so we go ahead and do the soapy water, clean it all up, and then go ahead and then add the oil to shine it right up. And so when you clean it off with the soapy water, it takes all the old oil off, dries it out again, and then we're replacing it with the new oil that it needs so that it shines nice. So as you can see here, it's all shined up, looks absolutely lovely. And I've used no harsh chemicals, which is clearly my favorite thing to do. So let's go talk about your sink. So when I talk about my sink, I like to use baking soda to help clean it. I usually keep it in a pepper shaker that I got from the dollar store. The great thing about this shaker is you can keep it under your sink and it will help deodorize under your sink. And you can sprinkle some of this in your garbage can to help deodorize any odors in your garbage can too. Okay, so we're on the sink, and the first thing I usually do is get it a little wet, and then I let the majority of it kind of drain out. Then next I take my baking soda and I sprinkle it in here on both sides. Now, baking soda is a deodorizer, as I said, and it is a base. So what this is doing the work isn't necessarily killing germs. We're just getting the gunk off of our sink. You know, particles that are stuck, grease that is stuck, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna get in here and scrub the whole thing and get into those grooves really good. Now, if you have a bunch of weird gook in here, you can also add a little bit of dish soap, which is the next step we're gonna do, and you could use both at the same time if you want, but I am gonna be doing that as a separate step. I just wanna get in there good because that is gross. But go ahead and get all the way around, and you're not, like again, you're not fighting germs, you're just getting all the yuck off. And we're gonna do this on both sides so that we can get it good and clean. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is scratch that out. Okay, the other thing you can do is you could take the baking soda and sprinkle a little bit in your sink while you're doing this, because that will help deodorize in your garbage disposal and into your drain a little bit. Okay, so we've got the whole thing clean here. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this all down. And again, keeping in mind that that was just a base. Now the other thing is my stainless guy that put in my sink, and when I picked this out too, he had told me that it is normal for sinks to get scratched up. And the more they get scratched up, the more beautiful they tend to look and even they tend to look. I mean, you're putting silverware, pots, and pans in there, so that kind of makes sense. So this scrub pad, by the way, is a less abrasive scrub pad. There are several kinds out there. Now, next, I'm just gonna put a little bit of that Castile soap onto my scrub pad here. Get it in there good. Now, again, you could mix them together, the baking soda and the soap, because they're both a base. So those do complement each other when cleaning. But this part is to just give it a little shine and evenness. And this part is to fight the germs, because it is soap, and soap fights all the germs. So this is an important second step to getting it clean. So I'm gonna go ahead, wipe the whole sink down with the soap, give it a little scrub. It will naturally kind of shine it up, like so. And then I'm gonna go ahead and rinse the whole thing down, giving my scrub pad a little rinse too, but I might need that to also help me in case I miss a spot or anything like that. And then again, don't ever forget to clean your faucet, because that place gets nice and germy with all of our dirty hands. All right, so I'll go ahead and finish this up here. Get that down, and again, you have that baking soda in there, so that will help deodorize your drain a little bit. So let me go ahead and turn this off. Now, as that's draining, I can put my sink stuff back in here. Now, I usually stop here, but another step would be to go ahead and put the oil in here and wipe it all down to moisturize it, give it a good shine. It's kind of up to you what you want to do with your sink. I hope this inspires you to do some natural stainless steel cleaning in your home. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel and my blog at chascrazycreations.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.